Hello, folks. Welcome to Thursday nights here at Telling Tales. We are back in the new year and we're very excited to get back to some wicked ones. So thank you very much for joining us and I hope you'll enjoy tonight's wee session. But before I get to any of that stuff, let me do a quick intro to Telling Tales and who we are. So you may be here with us on Twitch, so you know we stream on Twitch. You may be watching this on YouTube, so you know we put stuff on YouTube. So if you don't know about those, feel free to check out the other. There's loads and loads of stuff in our old YouTube catalog now, old videos you can check out of old series of different. I think they're all old. They're new. There are lots of great new things going on there. Go and check them all out. All sorts of TTRPGs and things. We stream live on Twitch more or less every Thursday at the moment, although it's kind of on and off. Wicked Ones is every other Thursday, and there's something else, which is currently the Big Wet going on next Thursday. We also stream on Mondays, which is going to be Warhammer very soon from next week, which I'll be running. And Wednesdays, which is our Simba Room series, which has been going on for years now. I think I can actually say years because it's more than 1 year, which is very exciting. And yeah, so we also do one-shots now and then on Saturdays or Sundays from 3 p.m. And we stream at 8 for those who don't know on weekdays. So yeah, come check all those things out. Yeah, and anyway, so from there, I think, and check out all the links below. We've got a Discord and we've got Patreon if you fancy supporting us, which is very much appreciated. And we've got all of the other usual social media things you can go check out. So yeah, without further ado, let's get to things, shall we? Excuse me, I've still got a little bit of a bad throat, but hopefully it won't be too bad for today. Wicked Ones. Wicked Ones is a really fun kind of mishmash of dungeon keeper and bits and bobs of being an awful monster. I can't remember what the other. It literally says in the beginning of the story what the thing it combines with is, but it's just gone from my brain now. But anyway, it's a lot of dungeon keepering with various bits of being an evil monster, taking things from people in the overworld. It's a lot of fun. It's nice to play the bad guys for a change and have fun with that. And our group, basically with our session 0, which I think was 5 or 6 sessions ago now, we created this fantastic world to play in together. And now we have been settled. The 4 Wicked Ones have settled in this valley, found themselves a dungeon, started digging and finding rooms and building things they need and recruiting minions. And then they've been adventuring all over the place and trying to find out what evil schemes they can inflict upon this valley as well. So they've met lots of local peoples. They've had a really big fight with an ancient horticultural vampire, which they managed to destroy. They stole a boat a little while ago, which might be coming in relevant pretty soon. They also met some witches in the woods. I think that's kind of most of the things. Oh, they met a giant, really, really giant snake called Slitherax underground with them as well. So lots of interesting things have been happening. But anyway, to recap a bit on last session, which is kind of a downtime session between raids, we'll bring on the characters. So totally randomly, I haven't told the players what order they're going to be on. I'll bring on Chris first. Hey, Chris.
I win again for anyone who was watching Simbarum yesterday. That's 2 games in a row I've been the first one on. Catch up, other players.
Was that
all of
now
you.
the real question, was that randomly yesterday as well? Or was that planned?
It was randomly yesterday.
So now the odds. You've got to start getting.
I'm not saying I'm the
Chris.
chosen one, but I have been chosen now twice over 2 days.
You have been.
I mean,
yeah, cool. Do you want to give us a bit of an intro to Beepo then, who your character is?
Beepo is your adorable, unhinged kobold who has also tapped into some incredibly dark arts, got well into the occult, and has some weird origins that might not be 100% kobold, might be constructed or uplifted somehow, yet to be fully defined.
We're starting to delve a little bit into that at the moment, aren't we? With the witches, perhaps.
Beepo is running a small cult with his kobold, with their kobold followers, to the goddess of knowledge, Malawa, and is generally being an absolute nuisance.
Yeah, exactly as kobolds should be. Cool. Okie dokie. Thank you very much. Let's bring on Steve next.
Hello.
Hey, Steve. Do you want to give us a bit of an intro to Tereth then?
Sure. Yes, Tereth is a demon conniver. So basically spends his time just sort of gathering information, lying to people, telling people inconvenient truths, sometimes getting wound up and talking down to people in really quite an obnoxious way.
Maybe causing an argument, maybe nearly making them cry.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's somebody has to do it, apparently, and that someone is me.
It's just a shame that you love it, isn't it?
Well, you've always got to find some way of enjoying your work. So
that makes sense. That's perfectly fair. Cool. Okay, let's bring on John.
Hello.
John, do you want to introduce Slee for us then?
Slee is a Slusek snake person shadow/rogue, depending on your preference of fantasy terminology. They are mostly just here to find good food and have a good time, and that's more or less currently their main motivation.
Yeah. If you watched the session before, maybe looking cool features in that a little bit.
Maybe a little.
I think diving out of windows, and I think you dove off a boat at one point as well, didn't you?
I jumped off of a boat and then swam through the water in order to eat someone.
It's usually about eating.
The eating and the being cool are sort of hand in hand in a lot of places.
Maybe they offset each other a bit. Who knows? I feel like it's not that cool to be like so full that you can't move because there's a whole corpse inside you. I mean, it's a bit. maybe.
Well, that just seems.
You probably can't reply because you're too full in the corner. I'm just imagining Sling there like.
As John, I've been there. So.
Cool, thank you. And we'll bring on Sam last but not least. I was trying to remember that saying in my head. Hey, Sam, do you want to introduce Osric for us?
Osric is a demon warlock, specifically a necromancer. And he's a little bit obsessed with his books, with his magical items. He likes the idea of power and the quest to get it in whatever form it takes. I mean, specifically magical necromantic power, but it's just what floats his boat. And he can be a little bit, I think, kind of closed-minded in his search for it, and not worry too much about other stuff, but sometimes will annoy his fellow wicked ones a little bit, maybe.
maybe. No, certainly never get into any trouble that could cause problems in the future.
No, he wouldn't do that.
That would never happen to Osric. I can't imagine what that could be. Cool. So before we get into story and what's happening in the dungeon, I think people might have had a few XP points. Do you want to, if anyone's leveled up, do you want to tell us what new things you've got? Because it's always fun to hear.
I have leveled up and have taken a new ability from the Warlock categories of abilities called Grand Sorcery. And that lets me take a second path of magic that I can use. My first one was Necromancy. And I think the second one I'm going to take is Enchantment, which sort of fits with the idea of liking sort of magical items and artifacts and books and things like that. So kind of made sense and also seems cool. Might be taking some enchanting downtime actions at some point.
That sounds cool. You know what I'd really like to see? I'd really like to see you try and use that creatively in a raid somehow. How enchanting is going to be like an aggressive thing. I don't know. That'll be fun.
I'll find a way.
Yeah, sure. That's cool. Nice. One of the things that's nice about this game as well, actually, is when you create the characters, you have to sit within your, I can't remember what it's called, basically your character class. They give it a different name in this, of course. But when you level up after the fact, you can basically get from any class, skills from any class, which is really nice. Although Osric in this case has gone for a warlock skill. Obviously, they're more relevant to
I think is it one place? It's the flexibility slot, isn't it? You can. I'm presuming it's
one that's from any.
Oh, it's just the one, is it? Oh, never mind.
I think so.
That's still cool. Lets you have a bit of.
Oh yeah.
Has anyone else leveled up?
I did. Yes, I've taken, this is again from the Conniver track. It's a basic one. Missed a spot, which is each downtime you get 2 ticks, which can be distributed to any project clocks started by your allies. What errors do you point out in their work? So I'm very much looking forward to sticking my nose in and
Perfect.
just
I can see some wicked XP coming your way directly from that. Just the awfulness you're going to ensue. Also, it's so Tereth, because Tereth is already big mouth. It's just perfect.
I love how you've now got like a special ability to be that guy.
Exactly. It's also really good though. Like 2 whole ticks, you can get less than that with just an actual action. So,
I am supporting you. I am supporting you.
You just don't like it. You don't have to like it.
Well,
did you have a level, Chris?
Speaking of sticking your nose in something, I upgraded my titular magical stick so that it can now, on a successful hit, cast a level 1 magic effect for free.
Very cool. That's nice. Okay, and that's fun because in this game there's no such thing as a standard set of spells. So anything that we can kind of agree is tier 1 in that moment. Is that within a certain category of spells, or is that anything?
Oh, it'll be in line with kind of Malawa's
so it's your
style of enchantation. So a bit more psychological, perhaps, rather than just getting people to burst into flames.
Mm-hmm. Very fun, though. Very fun. You have the stick of madness or something like that now. I like it.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm. Have you got one as well? Everyone leveled up. Wow.
I haven't leveled up. I leveled up last time, but I have, I think, finally decided. Well, I say decided. I rolled for what my magical loot is going to be, and this feels like an appropriate place to say it.
It's totally inappropriate, John. This is outrageous.
Well, I'll just leave then.
Let me hear what your thing is. I want to.
I rolled displacement arrows. Teleport anyone hit with them to a nearby spot, but the spot is totally random. I'm going to say I discovered this. I was like, they're just sticks with spikes in them.
Mm-hmm.
I was like testing the weight of them because I used throwing knives, and I dropped one, and it landed on a nearby imp, who then teleported to like 5 feet in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like
and then and then there was the following splat as they probably landed on something hard over there.
Yeah.
I love it. That's very fun. So you don't use arrows, but I'm happy for it to be translated as something you use. That's fine. Cool. It would be weird and unfair to be like, you don't have the weapon for that. You can't use these.
You can just poke people with them.
They can be ranged.
I feel like it would sort of be very sleazy to go around just throwing arrows at people.
It would be, wouldn't it? Yeah. Cool. Thanks, folks. So, now we can have a wee look at the dungeon, I think, because that might be a nice way to talk a bit more about what happened last session, because it was all more or less dungeony stuff. So just before last session, you had defeated the horticultural vampire that I mentioned. You came back with said loot that we discussed, all of the different screen types.
Sorry.
It's okay. We're just going to give you a selection of all the things we had at our fingertips there. So this is the dungeon folks are currently residing in. The left-hand side there with the stairs down is the entranceway. In this game, it's not like a typical. I should talk a bit about mechanics over as well. It's not like a typical role play in that I am the dungeon master who knows everything. The GM. We've created the world together. The players know about the world, which the characters don't, which is fun because it kind of allows the characters to do things by chance that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do. And also the dungeon is part of the play. So we've kind of sort of made a decision that bits of the dungeon we play with different players. We'll see how that goes when we get our next calamity roll that gives you someone attacking the dungeon. But it's not just a play your character game. In fact, this is a Forge in the Dark system. And for those of you that know about brain's gone blank game it came from, Blades in the Dark. Thank you, Brain. Blades in the Dark system, basically where you kind of depending how much of a success it is, the player will describe what happens more than the GM and things like that. And there's lots of flashbacks and other bits and bobs to items. And you don't play everything; you play kind of the key scenes and fill out other bits and bobs. It's 2d6 based, and 6s are how you succeed, basically. Well, no, sorry, not 6s. 4 and 5 is a mixed success. A 6 is a full success. No, 6 is a less of a success. More or less dice, depending on how many advantages or skills you have. Not going to go into any more rule stuff because I said we were going to look at the dungeon. So yeah, dungeon-wise, last session we got back from the raid of the vampire, and then it was calamity. No, it was blowback, and I think basically nothing happened on blowback. If I
Nothing happened on blowback.
You were pretty lucky. I remember you had that fun encounter with the witches. Was that on the way back last session? That was, yeah. So that was when we found out a bit about potentially Beepo's origin story. And I don't know, would you say it was broadly a friendly meeting? I think probably.
It was certainly friendlier than the other allies we've met so far, which has kind of ended up adversarial or complicated in some manner.
Other than Slitherax. Slitherax has been great.
Oh, yes, but Slitherax wasn't... I don't think Slitherax was an ally. Slitherax was a random discovery.
Yes, Slitherax was the best roll you could possibly have made on random discovery. I think it was 3 6s you rolled or something like that on 3 dice. Well,
good friend. A good, long friend.
Very long. Very good.
The witches, it was a friendly-ish encounter, but they did set traps for us. They wanted to meet us, but they set traps for us, which is,
Oh yeah, they did specify it was for you. I was going to say maybe they just had traps, but if I remember correctly, the witch did say, "Oh yes, we've been trying to catch you." Yeah, it's their way of doing things. Friendly traps.
I mean, I guess how else would you try and convince someone to drop by if you didn't set up some snares and net traps and pit traps and...
Yeah, that seems fair. I mean,
you don't have phones.
That's what we do. We
Exactly.
have set up to greet our visitors.
I maintain that you are wicked ones, so that's probably actually your perspective on this. If you need to meet someone, you trap them, decide not to kill them after trapping them, meet them, then decide whether to kill them.
I do think it would be pretty hypocritical of us to be like, setting traps? How dare you? Like, we live in a trap-filled basement.
Yeah, I love the idea that someone comes knocking on your door and you're like, "Oh yeah, come down to the sanctum, it's fine." And then they're just like... Cool. And then there was a bit of lurking when you got back to the dungeon. I think we kind of worked on some things at the dungeon, but we were discussing a bit before. Nothing really changed in a significant way. Is that right?
Yeah, nothing was completed. I think there was a minion layer that we were backfilling, and Tarath made a bit more progress on the cheese wire corridor trap thing.
Good stuff.
But nothing completed to my knowledge.
And it's funny how at the time I was like, why would you ever want to have players keep track of each individual different bits of the dungeon? And now I'm like, well, I don't know how many points have been put into each of these things in the dungeon. So it's kind of, I understand the logic behind this now. But anyway. There was a few fun bits worth highlighting last session, particularly stuff that might come up now. So Beepo, you did a ritual, didn't you, to mess with the wizards who it's kind of been discussed are probably going to be the target of the next raid.
Yes, I did. And honestly, I've half forgotten what the subject of the ritual was because I was interrupted halfway, and that ended up being like 9 times more funny.
Osric dancing around, really wanting to know what magic you were doing for hours.
Oh no, I remember now. I was casting basically a sense of doom on the wizards, informing them that the prophecy was nigh and that they were in trouble, just to basically kind of debuff them from range.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember what you told us? Oh, you told Osric that there was like hidden magical item.
I've got it written here. It would be a hidden magical item, but it would appear as a very mundane thing. Yeah. Which is fantastic. Nice. Osric's dark impulse is obsessed, by the way, for those at home who don't know. So this is very cruel. And also, Osric, I can't remember what your downtime thing was, Sam, but I do know one of the bad sides of it that came out. Can you remember what you actually did?
I think I went to collect dead lemmings.
Oh yeah.
Because I'd bet Osric that he couldn't resurrect, 100 dead lemmings. So
Osric wasn't having it, and went to go get some to start the preparations for a ritual to raise a lot of dead lemmings from the shores of this lake and river.
Yeah, so 2 rituals. Well, 1 ritual has been accomplished, and 1 ritual is kind of in process. And the downside of that one for Osric, I think it was that situation that gave it to you, was that the next time you raise undead, they will be totally out of your control, which is extra fun because it does sound like you're planning for a very, very big raising of undead. So we'll see how that works out. Oh, gosh.
Should be fun.
Now, that's more or less all the notes I have. I know we leveled a few other things in the dungeon. I don't know if anyone else wants to add about stuff we did, or shall we move on to raids? Okay, so the plan was to raid the Wizard's Tower. If I remember correctly, it was you wanted to get magical artifacts and books for the library, because currently the library is non-functional. So basically, you're not aiming to knock them back, you're just wanting to steal stuff. And I think so far, basically all you've got to is you want to go raid the Wizard's Tower. So what approach is going to be taken? Oh, let's bring up the map actually as well. Is your map shareable now, Steve? Because you did quite a nice version of the map with names on it. I don't know if it's up.
I can probably...
I've got a copy of it here.
Amazing. Yeah, that would be good because rather lovely Steve has made a map with names on it. Although it doesn't have full names, which I kind of understand.
I did it very quickly this evening, I thought.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, I was just copying them off John's version.
Thank you very much. Oh, that reminds me, I did really quickly want to say as well, a few things have changed in the world with the map up. So if people are wondering what the numbers and letters are, that's the tier, so how tough they are. So a 4 at Riverton, for example, and the elves are really, really tough. The L, or the letter L, is light, N is neutral, and D is dark. So that's basically their alignment. Not good or evil, but like the players are dark, so they will tend to fit better with other dark factions, for example. Most of the characters cannot speak the light tongue. And the target of this is going to be those wizards on that tower. So there are 2 light. If I remember correctly, your dungeon is still a 1, tier 1, so you're still at a disadvantage in fighting them. Well, not a huge one. They are a bit shitty after all, as we all know. And the only other things that are worth noting, the horticultural vampire, which has been added in there, is actually going to be removed. You have completely wiped them off the map with the combination of stealing their body snatcher and destroying them. And I'm currently in the process of deciding who takes over that place in the south, but I'm thinking of making Starvington take it over. Because Starvington have also had the advantage that the Wild Witches have succeeded at their clock of scaring the Barony of the Woods. Scaring the Barony of the Woods, which is that inn/baroness there. And the Barony of the Woods were overlords of Starvington. So Starvington are actually in quite a good spot right now. You've kind of helped them out quite a lot. And the only other thing that's worth noting is Riverton has succeeded at making a treaty with the gnomes, the gnome racketeers in the river. So we'll see if things happen there. Anyway, probably none of it immediately relevant. Go on.
When did we come up with the name Starvington? Who's named this town?
I can't remember which one of us named it, but it's a good name.
Who would choose to move to a town called Starvington? Is my question.
I feel like maybe it gained their name after everyone moved there. They all call it Sunnyvale, and then only people who they only say quietly they say Starvington. Cool. So the target of this adventure raid is going to be the 2-tier light wizards on the right-hand side of the map there, as I said. The dungeon, by the way, is kind of in the center there, just north of the witches, slightly east of center, by the bend in the river, that kind of bit of ruins. And the characters have already acquired a boat as well in the very first session, second session. So they have a means to get to the Wizard's Tower. So on that front, I would like the actual main meat of this raid to be the tower itself. So the boat, we can kind of more or less skip over. And in fact, I'm happy for this kind of conversation about how you're going to approach the tower, because that's what we're going to do now, to be in the boat itself while you're approaching. So it's nighttime. You've obviously head off not long after dusk. Are you paying your minions to come with you on this raid? You have to pay them 1 gold if you want to bring them with. Beepo and Osric both have minions. Beepo's minions are kobolds. Osric minion is a body snatcher.
I'm not paying for this guy to come. I felt like he didn't do well when we got invaded. So
Nah, he didn't do too well, did he? He got
No.
munched on a lot, or stomped a lot.
he can stay at home.
Well, I hope you like kobolds because the whole gang's here.
How many kobolds is it? Do you have note of a number?
Don't actually,
Was
but I
it-
don't think that the
was it
system
6?
actually defines a number.
I think, yeah, I don't know if it does. Yeah, I think it was like 6 or 7. So, but that's
For some reason,
sort
I
of
have 6 in my head, but I don't know why.
It's more. I think with them, it's far more kobolds than anything else in the boat. So
They're all
it's,
stacked at kind of they're all stacked on kind of one end of the boat, kind of in a bit of a weird cuddle puddle, with Beepo kind of on top of them, kind of using them as a weird flesh throne.
Oh
Okay.
god!
Wow.
That's very Beepo. Oh, I love it. You're trying to get
Carrying,
that
of course, the stick.
You're trying to get that unhinged point already there, eh, Chris?
Oh, no. Saving that for later.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, what's the approach going to be? In front of you, as you're on this boat, you can see the tower in the dark of the night. There's a few lights on up above. I think as you approach, you hear like yelling and shouting, and you see someone in wizard's robes come running from the front door of the tower, yelling. Well, only Tereth would know this because only Tereth speaks the light tongue. But Tereth hears them yell, "The end is nigh!" And then he jumps straight into the lake. Everyone else just hears him yelling. And then you
Amazing.
just see the shape slowly swimming away from your vision.
Have they seen us, or is this guy just having a midlife crisis?
They have. You don't think they've seen you.
Probably an end of life crisis, in fairness.
Yeah, true.
Beepo probably has a good idea why that might be happening, even without hearing camera. Terrace, do you relay what he said? Out of curiosity.
Yes. You see, I don't know. I don't think I know what Beepo was doing. So I'll just. Well, something's got them riled up.
See,
Are we the only ones here?
Only us and the hand of the goddess Malawa. We are safe. Tonight will be blood and red and fun.
So, just out of interest, do we have a plan? What
This is
type
now
of raid is
plan
this?
discussion time. We don't have to do
okay,
this
cool.
in character.
Lovely.
We can discuss. So, what type of raid are you doing? You see the tower in front of you. I'm putting you in this setting so you can ask about the tower as well and what's going on.
Cool. Okay.
But what's the sort of approach? Are you going to storm it? Are you going to try and climb the outside of the tower? Are you going to try and barter or trick your way in? You know, it's quite a substantial thing, and it's not exactly fortified, but it's also not the sort of thing you can just walk into. So,
I think Beepo has potentially led us a step down the path of trickery in terms of this paranoia aspect. If we were to say pretend to be, no, we are representatives of a whole series of dark gods. So
I mean, it's not even inaccurate.
But
So you kind of want to, you kind of want to turn this into a bit of a heist. Is that what I'm feeling? So more of a kind of Ocean's 11.
Well, I feel like what you were saying there, almost, Steve, was more like you're going to go in and appear as monstrous and terrifying.
Yeah,
as
spook
possible
them some more. You know.
Really
do the old
flee for their
spook.
lives.
Yeah.
You know that they're already scared, right?
Sort of leaning into
like
the whole
it.
paranoia angle.
Effectively,
Yeah,
a trickery
yeah,
would be what that is, but mechanically, it doesn't really matter.
I was toying with the idea of going up the oubliette.
That does sound less appealing, I think, in the balance of these two options, but might be very terrifying for them, I suppose, at the same time. Especially if someone's
that's one form of doom. Got a specific end state.
Okay,
Well,
so
I think,
if they,
like, a frontal attack matched with some sneaky, small, scrambly lizard lads going around the back
And the frontal attack is more of
Comes
a intimidate and frighten than a this is us actually breaking in sort of thing. Okay, so in that case, I am going to categorize it a trickery. Does that sound good to John, Sam? Sorry, I realize I've just.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking I don't. So is the plan like the kobolds go around the back and cause chaos? Tareth et al. Go in through the front and forsooth doom and chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Maybe
Is that
Slee
the
could
thing?
sneak. Slee might be
I
happier
was
sneaking.
pondering climbing up the outside of the tower to scout for where the good loot is.
Well, that would be part of the sneaking, so that seems fair. I mean, you'll get a bonus to sneaking up the tower, given there's big distractions going on. So, okay, so I'm going to describe this as a trickery then. The questions to look at for trickery: what do you want them to do? So, what is the target of this trickery? Are you aiming to get them out the tower, or are you aiming to do something else by terrifying them?
We want them to be at the part of the. We want to be in the tower while they are somewhere else in the tower.
Mm-hmm.
Like we want them to think we are where we're not.
Okay, so you're actually trying to draw them out, perhaps. So you want them to
Yeah.
come out of the tower so others can sneak in. Okay, so
Is
you
that
want them to
fair?
come out. Mm-hmm. How are you going to make them do that? Is basically the next question. You don't have to tell me that, but just make sure you've thought about that. And does it matter if they know that something happened after? So does it matter if they know that you've snuck in and done something in the back? Because you were aiming to steal a library. So bear in mind, a couple of people sneaking up the tower might not do that.
Yeah, I think the plan is to sneak up to sneak in. Those who are sneaking in, their goal is to at some point open the door and let the large friends in to kind of finish the job.
Sounds good. Okay.
While the wizards quake in the corner somewhere.
I mean, they're already on the path to quaking, so that seems fair to me. Okay. We good? So, I think you're paddling up on the boat as quiet as you can. The already panicked wizard has swam off. It might have noticed you. You don't know. They're certainly not paying attention to you. You are getting as close as you can, and we will find out if you are spotted and how your starting engagement goes. So, it's a base, 2 dice. I'm going to remove 1 dice because they are higher tier than you. I'm going to add 1 dice because of the dooming and the bad things that have happened to them. Now, are there any other removals we're adding?
It is nighttime, but that's very...
Well, it's also just kind of always nighttime when you're here. And I would say if you're doing it in daytime, you would have no hope of sneaking. So,
What's the weather like?
go on now. I'll give you a random dice roll for weather. I'm using a D6, and this is cloud cover. It's a 1. It's a perfectly clear moony, open full moon night. So that's a dice removed. Thank you, John.
Damn it.
That means we have an easy journey up to the shore and are fresh and well for when we arrive.
Yes, and also they'll see you.
Oh.
It was a fair chance. It could have gone either way. So,
although to be fair, like the silhouette of a kobold sat on a shape cluster of other. That's going to be.
I'm giving you a 1 dice engagement roll, which is the situation you're in when you arrive. You can still use that to your advantage. They might all be gathered at the shore, standing there ready for you, and then you could use that as a bonus. But let's see how this goes. It's a 5, so mixed. So I think you get pretty close without anyone seeing you. But maybe when you're a couple of minutes before pulling up quietly around the back of the tower, there's a shout goes from the bankside. And Tereth, you recognize the words, "There's a boat! There's a boat! There! It's in the dark! Get the wizards!" And they run back up into the door of the tower.
Well, they've seen us. They flee, yes.
That matters not. Blood for the kobold throne! All the other kobolds go, yeah!
One like falls off the back, and then you're like,
I'll hook them out with the stick.
amazing. Your boat pulls up on the shingles of a small beach on the back of the tower. Now, who is dashing into the darkness to try and get out of sight at this point?
Before we pull up on the boat, I'm going to throw myself off the back
Oh, very
and
good.
swim like away around so that I'm not part of the main.
Oh, I was going to make you make a stealth roll, but that's so good. I think I'll make you not make a stealth roll, but I'll say you're a little bit behind everyone. So you're going to guaranteed not be seen. Anyone else moving off into the shadows?
Yeah, basically as soon as the boat is nominally on the ground, the people at the front of the boat are kind of overrun by a crowd of unruly kobolds, kind of just dashing into the shadows, kind of zigzagging like rats from a burning boat toward the tower, into the bushes, out of the bushes. It becomes very difficult to gauge how many kobolds there actually are very shortly.
Love it. Is Beepo staying with these group, or is Beepo also dashing with the kobolds?
Yeah, Beepo's dashing in with the kobolds.
Got it. Okay. In that case, can I have a skulk from the kobolds and from Beepo then?
Beepo got a success.
Nice.
They have skulk 0, so I roll at disadvantage. So I roll 1 dice, don't I?
Which seems fitting given the crazy situation with this bankside right now. Yeah, you roll. Skulk 0 is taken negative, isn't it? It's 1 for 1 dice.
I think you roll 2 dice and
Take the worst. Yeah.
It's still a 5. It's a mixed.
Oh, you did pretty well. Nice. Surprising. I think all the characters are surprised when no one seems to immediately be yelling, "They're all coming onto the bank," or anything like that. It seems quiet. No one has noticed. And you managed to scurry into the bushes. I think the only downside of your mixed is that basically you kind of are a bit lost and confused, and you find yourselves momentarily at the front door of the tower rather than sneaking around the back instead. What's going on? Is there a plan for a distraction right now with the boat having arrived and only Osric and Terra's on it, I think?
Who's on the shore? How many do we see people?
You noticed, I think you noticed with the yell, there was someone down the shore. It's only a very small island. Most of it is tower, to be honest. You notice there's one person on the shore who's going to be like a guard or someone patrolling. They have dashed into the tower and there is no one down here now. Just a few burning torches near the doorway. And like you're basically near a little pier, but you're not pulled up on the pier because you didn't want to be near the torches, but you're just kind of around the side of it. Or maybe you did want to be near the torches. I don't know. It's up to you. Did you want to arrive fully on display?
Oh, you're on mute.
Oh, I think we are trying to be distracting. I think Osric would say to Sarah, what's the plan here? What are we doing? How are we? You have a plan, right?
I was. Well, you know what you normally do in these situations, Osric. I think that might be a start.
I don't know if there's any dead people around here to get out that ground.
Osric, there are dead people around here in the water nearby.
Osric,
you think a boat went down or something? There's skeletons down there.
Osric starts trying to raise some dead people from the ground. He floats out his necromantic senses for the nearest dead guys. It's like very theatrically starts casting some sort of spell.
Is this, and now what tier is it? Is this a quick, I'm raising the dead, or is this a more prolonged spending time? I'm saying, is it a tier 1 or a tier 2, basically?
I think this is going to be a tier 2, but with an almost deliberate, like, Osric wants this to take a period of time so that some wizards can get down, see him going like, and then see like dead people coming out of the water. Like he wants this to be a big, a big thing.
I see. Okay.
He's
Are you
prepared to take some
going?
time.
Are you deliberately kind of doing it in the torchlight then, near the entrance?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Tereth, are you following suit, or have got a different idea?
I was thinking of. I hope we get the timing right on this, because otherwise it'll look really awkward. Remind me what the wizard swimming away said. Was it the end is here? Something like that.
Yeah, the end is here. We're all doomed. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was just kind of stride up, picking a path appropriately so that Tereth is silhouetted by some light source, and call out. I don't know about the prophecies. I'll just call out. Your doom approaches. Flee for your lives. Yeah, your very end is here to tear you asunder. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Okay, it sounds like rolls from both of you then. So Osric, you know what you're rolling. Steve, I'm happy with a threaten or a trick, which I think trick would be your better for this moment.
It would be, yes. It
Yeah,
would
you could
be,
do a trick.
and I'm going to use a dark heart. I have 2 points in trick. I'll use a dark heart to raise that to 3.
And yeah, there's also. I really want to give a dark bargain to Osric to make these undead even more terrifying and powerful, but that would just be ridiculous given the circumstance. So
Osric is going to go hard, as he normally does, because he has his ability, which is like, if you go hard, you get an extra dice. So it's like worse if it goes badly. It's minus position plus effect is going hard. So like worse if it goes badly, better if it goes well. Like plus 1d plus 1 dice when you go hard with a spell. You can't resist any consequences from the roll. And like there is stress on a critical.
Okay. Have you rolled, Steve? What have you got?
I rolled 3 dice. I got a 1, a 4, and a 6.
A 6. Perfect. Okay. I think there's no immediate response, but after a moment, you hear someone like upstairs who just seems to be sobbing from a window somewhere nearby, which is reassuring. No one's come out the door, which is kind of also reassuring. And Sam, how have you done with your roll?
I rolled 3 dice and I failed. 2 2s and a 3.
In that case,
God. Hang on. What?
Oh. Is it re-roll time?
Yes, Tereth will whisper something like, "No, it's the double. You have to. Don't forget the syllables in the third stanza of the."
I'm always forgetting my demon language classes. Sorry, Tereth. What do I reroll? Everything or
Full
one?
reroll. Yeah, it's full reroll. It's the only full reroll mechanic in the game.
That's insane. What an ability.
This is one of Tereth's skills, by the way.
That's a 6.
Well, thankfully, you managed to raise the undead with no negative effects whatsoever.
I do take a bunch of stress, though.
Yeah.
And just a reminder, they are completely outside of my control.
Osric, you are in mid-pose being as dramatic as possible, and you immediately know something is wrong. When you raise the undead, it's like you're puppeteering. It's like you can almost feel like strings, like you're just like over there. They're like dancing to you. There's no strings here. You have no connection to them at all. In fact, it's like they've risen themselves from now on. Does this all show?
Osric just like if you look to him and look at his eyes, you'd be like, "This guy knows he's fucked up," but outwardly says absolutely nothing. Just carries on chanting or whatever he's doing. Like
a skeletal hand holding a cutlass goes out of the water nearby. And moments later, another 2 hands come out of the water. Over a period of about 30 seconds, 4 skeletons with white, blue, glowing eyes start to crawl their way out of the water nearby. We'll cut to the people sneaking around behind the tower now. I think, given the distractions around the doorway and everything, Slee probably still makes it there first after all this. So, John, are you just going to try climbing this tower?
Yep. I'm just going to climb up until I find an impressive-looking window.
Sounds good. I'm going to make you make some roll for climbing without any challenge, but you're probably going to have a pretty good chance of this. You're a snake person too. Take a what's it going to be? Finesse. Have a +1 dice as well.
Ooh. Is a total of 4, and I currently have 2 dark hearts, so I'm going to spend 1 as safety.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 5.
5 dice.
I got 3 5s, but no 6s.
Oh well, it's a mixed. In that case, I think you successfully climb up the window, but part way up, you have to climb up, find a window. But the mixed is that there is someone basically at the window when you get to it. They aren't armed in that second, but they are like right on top of you, just like and trying to stop you getting in, basically. I'm guessing you try and get in, you don't continue climbing.
No, I try and get them out.
Love it. Okay, well that's going to be a strength, but whatever it is, that's not strength.
Smash.
Smash.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You're pulling someone. You're not. Unless you can make a case for something else.
Finesse them through the narrow window.
Banter.
I'm gonna spit poison in their face and then pull them out the window.
Okay, fine.
I've got 2 in the chamber, so
yeah, fair. Okay. Well, I'm gonna make a roll for them actually. No, you're not supposed to make rolls in this. There's nothing wrong with making a roll.
do you want me to make a roll for spitting?
Yes, that's where the roll's meant to be. Of course,
Yes.
I knew there was meant to be a roll here somewhere.
So I think that's another finesse.
You've got to remember the habit of if you succeed, you describe it more than me. Remind me, folks. Just jam everything.
Ooh, my highest is a 4, which is still a mixed.
Okay, so you succeed at spitting poison in their face, but the downside is they actually go away from the window.
Okay.
So they're like flailing at their face, like, but you can't pull them out anymore.
That's still something. In that case, I will climb into the window.
This person just seems to be like a servant or something. They don't appear immediately armed. They're trying to like reach for the doorway, but stuff is sloughing off their face and it's not pretty, so they can't.
I think I hit them with a disorienting poison.
They think stuff is sloughing off their space, but it's not. They're just very confused. They're like bashing into wardrobes and things. I didn't know you had specific
Can
poison.
I try and use their flailing to my advantage to gently guide them towards the window?
That's a finesse roll.
Yes!
You have successfully finessed the GM. Well done.
And that was a 6.
Yeah, okay. You have to wait for your right moment. It takes a few seconds, and then they're just at that, but they just go, and they topple directly out the window. Beepo, you're just about to climb, and a young servant boy just goes and lands next to you.
A celebratory yip will break our stealth somewhat, but Beepo, on this very clear moonlit night on the boat coming in, Beepo will take that good weather to have kind of worked out where the oubliette probably is. And after getting turned around on the way there, we'll kind of realize where they are in reference to this, gather the gang and go up the little forbidden wall hole to the danger room.
That sounds good. You have to kind of bash one of your kobolds who momentarily gets distracted by nibbling on the guy who just fell out the window's corpse. But once you've beaten them into line, you hurry them all up the little tube up the side of the tower, basically. I don't know if there's going to be a roll. Probably not. You probably just make it inside after that. So effectively, are you imagining this to take you up directly to some secret place, or are you just imagining this as kind of a back entrance sort of thing?
I mean, it's taking me up to the secret place insofar as the secret place is the bog.
Yeah, that was what I was imagining.
And I can't imagine there's more than one of them.
Okay, I'm going to make a roll to see if there's someone on the bog. And there's going to be extra on this because of Doom, so everyone's obviously going to the toilet more because they're terrified. Yeah, there's someone on the bog.
Oh boy, are they in for an awful night.
Are you in the lead, Beepo?
I think so.
Yep. Role play away. Someone is sat on the bog above you.
Oh, there's no yipping this time. There is a kind of spectral growling that sounds like a 4-dimensional cow screaming in labor.
Oh,
And
no.
And gradually the poor wizard acolyte on the throne realizes, maybe from the vibrations before, but realizes there is something coming the wrong way up the toilet hole. They have sat on the backward toilet, and now the poop is going to go back in.
Beepo unhinged and maybe with some poop on them. Comes up from the toilet. I think the wizard is definitely going to leap off the toilet, just screaming out of their absolute mind at this. They don't even try and run away. They're just like in a heap in the corner, just gibbering by the time you get to the top of the toilet.
I think at this point, I think Beepo probably has their blood up and is going to lose themselves to just turning the wizard into mage chunks with the gang for a while.
Yeah, you don't need to roll for that. Okay, we'll leave Beepo for a moment with the rest of the kobolds beating this wizard to death. Osric and Tereth. Tereth, these skeletons are definitely walking directly towards you two and not towards the tower. You don't know if Osric has a plan. Osric, they are menacingly walking towards whatever they can see. Seems to be what's going on.
Osric's chapter becomes more and more nervous. I think the wizard's magic is interfering with my necromancy, Tereth. Seems like we might have a bit of a problem.
There's like a clacking sound as one of them starts to crawl up over the little weir and it's probably about 20 feet away from Osric, walking slowly towards it.
Maybe we could like just row away a bit, and then skeletons can't swim. Trust me.
I love the idea of turning up. This is your doom. I'm gonna vote now.
Please sign for your doom. Bye.
If we can just row away a bit, yell at the wizards till they come out, the skeletons will go for the wizards. They can't get to us, they'll go for the wizards. But if we stay on the shore, we're gonna have to deal with these guys. Sorry, apologies. This one's on me. My bad, but we can work through this.
You've now been talking long enough. The skeletons are almost upon you. Are you running away?
Oh, back in the boat. Good God.
At this moment, the door to the wizard's tower, more or less directly in front of you, starts to crack open, and you just see like a staff with like a gemstone on the end of it, pointed kind of vaguely in your direction. And this little bolt of electricity goes past Osric.
Hey!
They're such shitty wizards.
You think that might have stung a bit. Another one goes flying kind of probably a few feet away from Tereth and bounces off a rock.
Osric gets on the oars, but says to Tereth, shout at them. Tell them they're doomed and stuff. You're good at that. You can do it. You're really good at it.
Tereth, are you on the boat now, or are you?
Yes, I'm on the boat. I'm not. Yeah.
You're not lingering with the skeletons around.
I don't think I can sweet talk skeletons somehow. Yes, I will. I'll examine these skeletons and try and quickly come up with a backstory for the lost crew of the galleon blah. See, they are here. You this island belongs to them. You are not welcome here.
Yeah. It's slightly diminished by the fact the skeletons appear to be chasing after you rather than going towards the tower.
Yes, I will be giving Osric a hard stare whilst I shout.
I'm actually going to roll to see how fast these skeletons are anyway. Okay, one of the skeletons is actually like on the oar that Osric is using to push off and is trying to like pull themselves along towards you. The other three have not made it there in time.
Once
Okay,
we're away
so-
from the shore, Osric will be trying to poke him off the end with his staff.
I would like you to make me either a finesse or a smash roll to make sure the skeleton does not get onto the boat.
I'll try and finesse it.
How is it the two serious characters are in more of a state than the two even more comedy characters?
Mm-hmm. You guys are doing great.
That's a 4, a mixed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think you've succeeded at getting it off the oar, but it's not sunk. It's still attached to the boat, kind of hanging on right just at the waterline. They're not particularly speedy, but you're going to have to keep battering at it to make it not get up to the boat. We'll give you another round at that.
Okay. Osric will continue rowing briefly. Just
Okay.
he wants to be within, like, so Tereth can still talk to these guys,
Mhm.
but far enough away that no more skeletons, and that we have a slight chance to dodge any more electric missiles.
Yeah, fair. Saying that, another one like zaps at the water near you, but doesn't seem to do anything. A single fish goes bloop and just sits upside down in the water nearby. I am going to, and then it starts swimming away. That's what I'm saying. It just gets frozen for a moment. I'm going to roll a random dice. 1, 2, and 3. They're going to go for the tower. 4, 5, and 6. The 3 remaining skeletons are going to go for the boat. Tower. 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 Well, weren't you lucky? So the other 3 skeletons on the bankside seem to be more interested in what's going on at the doorway, and one of them is quite close to the doorway and manages to effectively ram its cutlass into the door itself before it's jammed shut and starts like heaving against it. And it seems like the wizards on the other side, actually you can hear them going, pulling back on the other side of the door. And like little Pewee lightning things seem to be firing out the skeleton, but doing absolutely nothing to it. The other 2 are ambling back off in that direction. Okay, let's go back up to Slee in the tower. You are all alone in this room for the moment. No one seems to have noticed the commotion. You can hear quite a lot of commotion in the rest of the tower for what it's worth, which I suppose doesn't surprise you. What are you doing?
Having probably
Slee first.
calmed
This is
down.
John.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think my plan might be to get down towards a little bit of scouting, but mostly get down towards the door and cause enough chaos that Osric and Tareth and their skeletons that they definitely have under control can get in through the front door.
Excellent. Perfect. Okay, that sounds good.
I'm going to try and find stairs and try and make my way down to the door.
Are you sneaking down, or are you just?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yep, go ahead and make a
Very
skulk.
sneaking. I'm also going to be looting as I go.
Cool, sounds
If
good.
there's anything particularly shiny.
Give me a sneak, give me a skulk and a scan roll.
So my skulk is 5, and my scan is a 3.
Okay, so yeah, you don't see anything. Your skulk. Let's see. I think you succeed at getting down the stairs without being noticed. But when you reach the bottom of the stairs, you're in a bad position. Effectively, it's open. There's no way for you to sneak up on the people at the door. You see them. There's like 4 wizards all holding onto the door, 3 wizards holding onto the door, and 1 with like a little silly-looking staff. They all look like little baby wizards. They're all like 17-year-olds or something. Yeah, they're all wearing kind of like these really just silly-looking big white robes and tall hats that perfectly match each other as well. That's what I say. Some of them have little like badges on them as well. Yeah, you're going to have to decide whether to stay here and wait or just be seen by them all going to the doorway. What do you think you're going to do?
Can I hear the commotion at the other side of the doorway? Like, are we at the point where they're going, oh God, they're in the door?
Yeah,
Not
you can
that I
see
can
them.
hear them,
You can see
but-
them fighting to keep the door closed. You don't know
Right.
what's on the other side.
So obviously, Osric and Tereth are trying to get in through the door.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm going to throw a smoke bomb at the wizards.
I like it. That's fun. Yeah, go for it. You can just throw a smoke bomb. You don't need to roll to do that well.
Okay.
That seems fair. Okay, chaos ensues. Smoke is released. Everyone's coughing. The door is wide open. You don't immediately know what's going on. Let's go to Beepo. Beepo, I love I love that you'd imagined that somehow I said what I said to John was, oh, it wasn't loud, so loud that no one noticed. No, they definitely noticed what you did. You were very, very loud. I think before you're finished completely in here, someone is at the door trying to find out what the heck is going on.
Well, I'll invite them in violently.
Oh, God. Are you leaping upon them personally?
I think I'll probably... I think kind of in my mind, it's that kind of almost Tom and Jerry situation where the door opens, the person walking outside of the door is just yoinked in and the door closes again behind them. Is kind of what I'm feeling here. I wonder how that...
However, this person does seem to be a guard. They're wearing some amount of armor and they are armed with a short sword. And they look like they were prepared for something being here. So they're kind of coming through the door careful. So you can't just grab them without a fight.
Okay, well, look, now is as good a time as any to have a fight about it.
Mm-hmm.
Beepo is going to hit them with the stick.
The stick, eh? So they do not want to be hit by the stick. So you're going to have to roll a finesse to succeed at hitting them.
Well, that's one dice. Let me see what else I want to do here.
Mm-hmm. It would be... it's less of a smash situation because they're coming in cautiously. You see what I mean? So,
okie dokie. Do I drop a dark card on this? Is the question.
I wonder if there's a dark bargain I could offer you. Anyone got any ideas for a dark bargain in this situation?
There's a lovely table of dark bargains on
Ooh.
Page 61.
Let's have a look at page 61. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, I'd kind of be up for trying out the...
Let's roll. Rolling's fun, isn't it?
Generally hate dark bargains and Forged in the Dark games, but if it's coming off a table...
I can't vouch for the relevance, but I'm sure we can...
Okay, that's fun. The dark bargain is, and there is an adventurer in this tower. There is a single adventurer in this tower, and you have not met them yet. The dark bargain is the adventurer enters the room. However, they are drunk. That would be if it goes wrong. If it goes right, then you're fine. You just get the dice.
Yeah, okay. I'll take your bargain, GM. So that gives me a 2 dice finesse roll. Oh, a 2 and a 4, so a mixed, I think, isn't
mixed.
It? 4's a mixed.
A dark bargain, I think it doesn't happen unless you fail. Is that correct? No, it happens nonetheless.
That's a great question. Yeah.
Dark bargains are these things I keep talking about, and then I don't know how they work. Oh gosh, terrible.
I think they happen no matter.
Consequence of dark bargain will happen no matter what. There we go. It's right there. Okay, so
we still haven't done a flashback, have we?
No, they're really hard to do. It's one of those things where it's like it's a really cool idea, but in practice you kind of play a scene, don't you? I think it's probably partly my GM style, to be honest, but Okay, so the adventurer will stumble in momentarily. However, let's do this. You mixed success. So you are going to succeed at hitting them with this, but you're also, because they were ready with a sword, you're also going to have to resist the consequences of an attack.
And that will... Let's see how we're doing here. So first off, I want to use my new skill, which allows me to proc a level 1 magical effect on them. God, why is it so difficult to find the bits I want? And this isn't even a complaint about the book. This is a complaint about the specific Google Doc I'm using for this. On success when attacking someone with a stick, great. I will take a point of stress to affect the target with a tier 1 spell without rolling. I will do that.
Sounds good.
And then I think I have to spend another stress to resist getting chopped up, don't I?
Yes, so I always forget how resistance works as well, but I feel like it's on the cheat sheet.
Yeah, okay.
Resistance
so
rolls, here we go. Roll a chosen action, so you have to use an action to do it. Failure means you partially negate, take 3 stress. Mixed means you partially negate, take 2 stress. Success means you fully negate and take 1 stress. And a critical success means you fully negate and clear the stress. And you can roll anything you can make the case for can be rolled.
I think it's just going to be so. This young guard is attacking me, and I have been attacking him. He's perhaps they are a little bit confused that I attacked them with a stick, but when they struck back, they were even more confused when I basically just abandoned the stick halfway through my strike and kind of just dodged to the side, finessing my way out of the situation.
Gotcha. Finesse roll.
Fail. It's a 2.
Okay, so you only partially negate the effect and you take 3 stress. Well, that means you will not take one of your 2 health points. I can't remember what they're called in this. Wounds, isn't it? But you will take a penalty to your muscles. No. I'm going to say your guts, I think. That'll be a bit nicer. So all of your guts rolls are going to be -1 until you recover.
Okay. However, my effect still goes off, and you know how it's very hard to imagine things in 4 dimensions when you're trying to figure out how a tesseract works. The guard now knows exactly how that works, but has kind of forgotten how 3 dimensions work.
Got it. Okay. So you, as soon as you relinquish the stick and it's whacks them on the temple, basically, the guard just kind of starts to flail around and does keep their balance, technically speaking, but it's like they're right on the edge of losing their balance for the entire rest of the time you spend with them. They're sort of more just flailing around, not succeeding at doing anything anymore. I would like you to make a roll, because presumably your kobolds are going to leap upon them now. A roll for your kobolds of smash or whatever you like, but it's going to be +2 dice to see if they can now overcome this individual who is severely hampered in their ability to defend themselves.
Okay, so what are these gentle friends on? They've got 2 in Smash, so they're going up to 4 dice in Smash.
Yeah.
Oh my
pretty good
goodness,
chance
I'm
of doing
so
this.
sorry, Mr. Unnamed Guard. Oh my...
Oh
no.
Tenterhooks.
Oh. Dramatic.
Oh, very long dramatic pause there. How cruel.
What a time.
Oh, wow.
No.
Oh.
Yes.
Back.
Yeah.
It was a success with 1/6.
Okay. Good. They yes, they succeed. I mean, describe what happens to this poor individual, Chris.
Well, they were kind of assuming this was a duel when in fact it was a jumping. So they have now been kind of you know how at the Siege of Isengard in the Two Towers movie, the kind of the Ents suddenly get overwhelmed by the water. The kobolds kind of have decided that it's time to leave the room. So covered in blood and poo, they just pass over this poor guard like he was not necessarily killing him in the process, but just definitely he's going to be on the ground for a while, and he's going to not really want to get up once he's come to his senses.
Gotcha. Well, as them and you are streaming towards the exit of this room, a slightly older woman than certainly the wizards downstairs, and you've got seen so far, wearing exactly the same robes as the other wizards, appears immediately at the doorway as if she was coming in to investigate this as well. And she hiccups and leans back slightly and then eyes you with a serious stare. And then she disappears before you can act.
Oh dear. I only have 2 stress left. I need some help.
Well, let's cut downstairs again then, shall we? So
But when you say disappears, can I just have a clarification on that? As in,
there's an audible pop as she kind
Right.
of just vanishes in front of Beepo's eyes.
okay, yeah, it's not like a sneak off. It's a
No, like very much pop.
oh dear. Okay.
Okay, downstairs, Slee, are you trying to kill anyone, or are you just trying to get the door open in the chaos that is ensued?
I think I'm just trying to get the door open.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get too involved in the melee because there's
Yeah.
3 of them. And I'm perfectly fine attacking one person because I'm confident I'll win.
Mm-hmm.
But 3 is more than 1.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can go and basically you can immediately get the door open quite easily. You dash towards the front, the door swings open as you reach it, trying to move it forward. And at the doorway is a skeleton with glowing white-blue eyes. Make me a either scan or finesse roll.
Finesse it is. Oh, it's a critical.
Yeah, good, because if you failed, you would have been attacked immediately. You deftly dodge straight out the way of a slashing sword blow that you can only hope was accidentally swung towards you because the skeleton was still trying to kill other things. However, with a finesse roll, I think you make it back far enough that you realize the skeleton seems to be moving towards you.
Aye! Ozrek!
Can
Osric!
Osric hear this?
Yeah, you can totally hear it. Osric, you've seen the door swing open, a load of smoke pour out, and you can just about see Slee in the doorway.
Keep it up, Slee. Good job in there.
The wizards in the doorway are now they're pretty terrified, aren't they? One of them is going to try and sprint out the door and get away as fast as they can. All 3 of them are going to try and sprint out the door and get away as fast as they can.
Are the skeletons going to interfere?
Yes, the skeletons are absolutely going to try and interfere. And because Osric doesn't have control of them, I guess I roll for them too. That's a fail. That's a fail. That's a fail. Gosh, very consistent with these rolls. I just rolled all, when I rolled for the skeleton earlier on, I rolled 1, 2, 3 on all of them. 1, 2, 3 for all the people trying to escape. They failed their morale. 1, 2, 3 for all the skeletons trying to hit them.
Are you rolling D3s by any chance? Man?
It's definitely a D6. Really odd. Yeah, there's some fast wizards, I guess, when they're fleeing for their lives, thinking their world is doomed. And they actually dash to a bush, and you see in the bush is hidden a rowboat. And they're within seconds rowing away. You've never seen someone start rowing faster than this. They're almost making air with each, movement of the rowing, the oars. Slee, all of the skeletons start to descend upon you now that the wizards have dashed off as fast as they can to the water.
As far as Osric knows, is this all the wizards that have now left?
I don't think you're sure. You might guess that.
Okay.
I
think.
Yeah, you're going to go back towards the shoreline now.
Yeah, probably. But also, does Osric have the ability to end this spell? Like, can he say no more skeletons, or is that not?
Normally, you
Too
could.
much control.
But in this case, no. Okay.
Well, you could try.
I think he'd like to give it a go because he thinks there's now 3 of us. All the wizards, or like it looks like a good amount of the wizards have run away. We're in the door.
It's worth saying
These skeletons clearly are not.
Your first priority right now is there's still a skeleton climbing up the side of the boat to try and claw your eyes out. So either you or Terra's going to have to deal with that. Then you could try that.
I think Osric might think, if I can end this spell, I'm not going to have to deal with this bloody skeleton trying to climb on the boat either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He'd give it a go.
Yeah, that's fine. But make it, I think, a tier 1 just for a Dispel Undead. That would probably be for a Necromancer. I'm not saying it'll work, but it's going to be a tier 1. Terra, it's going to be up to you to stop this skeleton clawing Osric's eyes out, unless you don't mind Osric's eyes being clawed out by the casting this spell.
In that I have to act first.
No, I think Osric will try and cast a spell either way. He might
Okay,
not
right.
finish the spell with eyes, it would only be the effect of it.
Okay.
Since he has Forsaken trying to stop this happening.
That is a mixed. So
I'm going to
essentially
tell you right
eyeless
now, that
Osric.
was not good enough.
Yeah.
Would have succeeded if they were your undead.
So I was planning. There are so many things. There are so many things I could do, and I'm sure none of them will work. But the thing I was going to attempt before Osric tried to break the spell was to sort of look at this, to speak to the skeleton trying to climb into the boat, and say, "Look, you stupid bag of bones! All your captain, all your friends are trying to break into the tower. You're here. You're late. There's going to be no loot for you unless you get with a program and go off over there. Go on, sling her up."
Is this using ability, or is this just you trying to straight up trick the skeleton? Or
I think this would be this is just me talking, so it would be maybe a trick, maybe a threat.
Now I've got an important question for you. What tongue are you using? The light?
I would be
or
using
the
dark.
Dark.
I would be
because they
using
are
dark.
human skeletons, but also their skeletons were risen
Yes.
dead. Okay.
With glowing eyes.
Yeah. Maybe the roll.
Okay. I've got 2 in trick. I am going to add the dark art on because it feels like a kind of.
I think I will give you a bonus dice for Big Mouse because this is very Big Mouth of you as well. Tell it how it is to the skeleton, Steve.
I'm sure they'll listen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 4 dice.
Yeah, it does need a crit to have effect, so you'll need it.
Oh, I see. Right.
It's a skeleton. It's trying to murder you. You can't tell it not to.
Yeah, I don't. I mixed success. So
okay,
no,
mixed.
no
I was going to say
success.
on a 6 you would have given it pause, but I think on a mixed it. I think the thing that happens is you do save Osric. It's coming for you now.
Oh, great.
But it does not go for Osric immediately. That is the effect that you have succeeded with. He's got a little battle going on the boat with this one skeleton. Osric,
You're not
embarrassing.
you're not even managing the wizards, the pair of you.
Osric, I was going to say, it's worth noting for you, normally a mix gives you something. Because of the unique situation, you get nothing from this mix. I'm sorry.
Fair.
You cannot quell these undead whatsoever. They seem to be sustaining themselves.
Gareth, I have some terrible news.
The skeleton's like crawling onto the boat and brandishing a blade at Dareth.
Let me guess, Osric.
Okay, I want to cut back up the beeper up to the top of the tower. Pop just happened in front of you. There's no one else around immediately.
People will issue a curse in a language that time has forgotten, and probably quiet the gang down a bit and go back into sneaky mode.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do we want to go up or down?
Give me a scan.
I think
if you're being quiet.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think I would know to have the right tab ready this time around. For those at home who are interested, I know I got a -1 guts. I already had a -1 to guts due to a mixed consequence from the ritual, I think. So my next guts is -2.
Ooh, good job we don't roll those quite so much.
Yeah. Mixed to 5.
Okay, you hear footsteps nearby, but you can't quite tell where from. It seems like in the room, not like hiding in another room.
Probably an invisible bastard. That's Beepo's chain of logic anyway.
Are you saying you're kobolds?
Yeah, probably in the dark tongue. Invisible bastards.
They all start just flailing around with whatever they can find in front of them.
No. Subtle.
Flailing around.
With a very quiet yip, people will start kind of going down. We're going to go downstairs.
Okay, cool. Before you can go downstairs, all of a sudden you are grabbed from behind and there is a whisper in your ear. You don't recognize what they say. Are you just going to try and flail at them?
Yeah, but what are my friends going to do?
I'll roll and see if they've noticed, because I don't think it's really, a lot. Just kind of someone's just a little bit. No, you should roll for them. My apologies. Roll a scan for your couples.
Come on, friends. Oh, they do have a scan dice. Oh, it's a 1.
Yeah. They have not noticed and are starting to head downstairs, assuming that you are following them.
I'm going to flail and try and save myself.
Smash.
Okay, so this is... is this guts? No, it's not. It's muscles. Good. That's 2 dice. 2 5s. That's slightly disappointing.
Okay. You flail away and you hear a sound on the other end. And does your stick do it every time you use it?
No, it doesn't. Not unless I spend stress.
Okay, cool. And you're relinquished. And all of a sudden, you hear the most devilishly beautiful voice you've ever heard. And you look around and you see a vision of the goddess Malawa up above you, beckoning you towards her. It's the greatest sight you've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm not sure Beepo has the wherewithal to question this whatsoever. Guess I'll be rolling up a new character, friends.
Adventurers, they'd be fun.
Well, no, because hang on, wait a second. No. Beepo's clever enough. Beepo is a good enough adherent to the goddess's ways that she would never reveal herself without a cost.
That's very true.
Something's going on here. So yes, I think I've given myself enough reason to be legitimately suspicious.
Yeah. Okay. Beepo is not immediately taken in. Do you want to roll, or do you want to make your? I'm happy to just make your mind up about what Beepo will do.
I think I'll make. This is central to Beepo's character. Like the faith. The faith is not to be mucked around with. I think Beepo will give like a bow, a very neat bow, which is adorable on a kobold, and then flee.
The second you turn away, the image of Malawa fades away, and you see the exact same person that you saw a moment ago, who stumbled into your view and popped out of your vision. You're continuing to run, presumably.
Yeah, I'm going to catch up with the friends and head downstairs for some fun.
Sounds good. Back at the door, Slee, there are 3 skeletons. They're bearing down on you.
Osric! Yeah. I will try and run away.
You succeed at running away. These skeletons are slow, relatively speaking. You can dash back up the stairs. You basically run straight into Beepo's kobolds, who are a bit ahead of him.
Get the bones! Get the bones ones!
Okay, so you're dashing back upstairs and then leaving the kobolds to go fight the bones.
Yeah.
Cool. Give them a smash. Beepo, your kobolds bravely go to fight the kobolds in following Slee's orders.
Okay. That's 2 dice for smash for the kobolds.
If they have a thingy, they can use it.
Right?
They can roll as well.
Well, they just got a 6 on their smash dice, so let's see what else there is. I don't know if they have...
No, you're good. I was going to say it's the thing they could spend morale I was thinking of, but you're all good. They succeed at smashing one of the skeletons to pieces. About 3 of them gang up on it, and they're now jumping on the bones on the stairs. The other 2 are slightly behind.
Slee, you strange long one. What? Don't... There's a real wizard in the tower. Not an excuse. Dangerous. Keep your wits about you.
Oh. All right.
Can you
also,
both? Sorry.
There's also a lot of skeletons. Just laying it out there.
Beepo, I would like you to make me another smash roll to see how the kobolds are doing against the other two skeletons.
That's a mixed 4 and a 4.
Okay, so they, I think they slow the skeletons down, but now they're dashing back up the stairs like, boss, bony, scary things.
I'm going to be honest with you, Beepo. I think Osric might have turned on us.
Okay, I had to find a point to end at 9:30 because I have to end early tonight, folks, and I think that's actually a really funny line to end it on. Because I really like the idea that you're genuinely going to consider that in the tower, Osric and Thereth are still out on the boat. So my apologies, folks, for ending it early. We'll come back to this fairly soon, but I am struggling and I need to end soon for my sake of my voice. But we will return fairly shortly, and we will do XP at the end of the raid rather than now. I know it's meant to be every session, but there's no point cutting it in partway through. So yeah, join us again. There's no way we could have finished the raid in the next 5 minutes. It's gonna be a bit longer yet. So we will do the next part of it in the next session. But thanks very much for joining us. Check out all the other Telling Tales stuff below. And on other days, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and the occasional one shot. So yeah, see you next time, folks. Bye bye. Should be back in 2 weeks.